project manager at Stella Jean's company. Stella Jean is a talented Italo-Haitian designer who began her career in fashion working as a model, but soon she discovered her real creative calling. In 2011, she was one of the winners of the prestigious Who Is On Next contest organized by Alta Roma and Vogue Italia. In 2013, Stella was selected by Giorgio Armani to show her collection in the Armani Theater during Milan Fashion Week. That consolidated her role as representative of the new wave of Italian fashion. The following year, she collaborated with the Ethical Fashion Initiative at the World Trade Fashion Collection. In January of 2015, on the occasion of Milano Moda Uomo, Stella Jean presented her menswear line for the first time on the Milan's catwalks. Her work is featured in the Museum at FIT's exhibition Global Fashion Capitals, which was curated by Ariel and Elizabeth. Stella, Elizabeth, Ariel, Daniela, thank you very much for being here tonight.
Ho scelto questa giovane stilista perché è un personaggio che riassume in sé un po' diverso tipo di modi di essere. Lei è nata a Haiti, mi sembra, e ha un amore per questa sua terra, però lavora a Milano, vuole essere qualcuno nella moda, quindi ha l'occhio molto attento in moda internazionale. Quindi questo mix di cose mi ha intrigato.
So Stella, thank you so much for coming. It's such an honor to have you here. So to start off, can you give us a little bit of information about your upbringing and growing up in Rome in a multicultural family?
Yeah, I was born in Rome in the 80s from, what you said, a multicultural family. My mom is from Haiti, my father is from Turin, Italy. And, you know, in growing up in the 80s in Italy has been quite hard for a kind of zebra family as mine, so black and white, because everybody was staring and pointed at us on the street like they was daring to do that, or asking where I come from all the time. And since I'm Italian, I always answer, I'm Italian, I'm born here. And people still nowadays say, no, it's not possible, it's not true. So, you see, it can be something funny sometimes, but all the time, it becomes something hard, no? And even in what you call the teenager period, it's been quite hard, no? Because you already have some problem with your own identity. If people came and put other problem of your, even where you born, when you was born, it's even more hard. And so I've been through a lot of struggle in those ages. And when the same things happened to my son, I have 2 kids, my son of when he was 6, 7, and then we went to the florist, and the man of the shop say, "Oh, what a beautiful kid, where are you from?" And then he said, "I'm Italian." And the man said, "No, it's not possible, you're from Brazil." And they said, "No, I'm Italian. And I see after something like 30 years, the same history that repeats always the same. And there I had 2 chances, or to leave Italy and go in a multicultural country, would be France. Paris is a really mixed race place, or stay here and try to change things. But about for my kids and all the new generation, there will be mixed. If you want, if you don't want to, it will happen. So I think that it's a kind of not only ignorance, but also people are really scared now of what is so far away from you. So my first collection, the one that I present at the Vogue Context USA Next, was inspired from my history. So if we can see a look, I'll show you what I mean. For instance, let's talk about this one. The shirt always represents my father's side, so we will always have a mannish shirt. It's often striped. And the skirt represents my mother's side, which was always a wax print for the black roots of Haiti. Haiti is the most black island in the Caribbean, the first black republic in the world, and the most pride country, proud of his African roots. And then I'm the result of that, the mix between my father and my mother. This is not aesthetical. The aesthetic, it's the second step. The first one is to communicate this mixed with this crossover, this kind of, as I said, multicultural philosophy applied to fashion.
Wonderful.
So we saw a little bit about Giorgio Armani speaking with you, and he invited you to show at his venue for Milan Fashion Week. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you met Mr. Armani and kind of your relationship now?
The first time that they called me, I thought it was a joke. I was driving, and then they said, "Stella, Mr. Armani chose you for." I was the first woman collection to show in his theater, and I think everybody knows Armani style, no? It's a really classical, black, white, gray. So I said, "No, it's not possible. There it shows this mix and match color. There's so exotical," and no, it was true. So I stopped the car. I was driving. I jumped out of the car, and then all my roots come out. So I started to scream to Italy and Haiti, and then I went and met him, and he was waiting for the show. After the show, he said that he wouldn't come because they don't want people to pay attention only on him, but he wanted to give the chance to the new designer to be seen. And no, he came, and everybody was quite shut in the backstage. He came, and he said, "No, you've done a great job. Keep like that. Never lose your DNA, because it's the most strong, it's the most powerful thing, and you are really recognizable. This is more than a signature, no, because you don't even need to put the signature to recognize you as soon as you see your clothes." So it's something really important when it's a giant, no, that talks to you like that, and in a so positive way.
And we should mention that Armani had described you as the future of fashion, and we loved your shirt here in a way of thanking him at the end of the show. So then when curating global fashion capitals, we wanted to show a new emerging designer coming out of Milan, and immediately Valerie had said, you have to pick Stella Jean, her pieces are incredible. And we started looking more and more into the pieces, and we were just really blown away of this new way of working. So here we have an installation shot from the exhibition, and you had custom made this dress. So can you tell us a little bit about the fabric? And we just put these new shoes in that you had sent us in the collaboration with the boots that were created.
It's a wax dress with a shirt, with a striped shirt, and then I see my history. And so I'm a storytelling here. I'm just telling my history and tell that even if you put opposite culture together, no matter which one, I start from my roots, so I start from Haiti and then Italy, but in all the others collection, I always travel and try to put faraway culture together. Nepal, Himalaya, Japan, and again Africa together to see it's no matter how far they are, if you treat them with respect, that means you have to know them before you use it, because you can't use typical fabrics like no matter what, or just choosing for this color. It's not that, because it has inside the history of a continent sometimes like this one. And you have to be really prepared on it. It's not just the designer, you have to study, you have to talk with people. And it came out from a lot of story. When I met women above all, no, and they start to talk to me, the grandmother story, the grandmother clothes, or prints and everything. And these fabrics, the wax one, teach me not to trust appearance, because the thing is, when I started the first collection, I used the wax fabrics, and I was sure, like I think the 19% of the people, that the wax fabric was African. So I use it to symbolize African roots. Instead, it is from Holland.
Yeah.
And when I discovered it, it's been hard for me, because they have been from among the most tough colonizzatori. The colons in Africa. So if I think that this fabric is the flag of a continent and is produced from all white people, I would say, it's been hard to accept it now, because it's not known at all. So I had the chance to meet the ITC project, and I went with them in Burkina Faso and Mali and Kenya and Ethiopia, and they show me the real African fabrics, which maybe if we have other picture.
Yes, we're going to come across a few more of those different images in just a minute.
And which is not the wax. And I start to put the real African fabrics on the collection. And I keep use wax, but I do it myself. I don't want to use.
And tell us about the collaboration with the boots.
These boots are made by Christian Louboutin. It is his first collaboration with a young designer. So we decided the shape together, and then I put the prints on it.
Wonderful.
I like all those collaboration with the historical name of fashion, like Armani, like Christian Louboutin. I see that now they are really open, no, to meet and to exchange with the new designers.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned the ITC, the International Trade Center, and the Ethical Fashion Initiative. We saw the video earlier. And as you said before, this kind of traveling, this exploration of cultures is part of the DNA of your collection. So can you tell us about how you first partnered with the Ethical Fashion Initiative and how it kind of plays into your collections today?
We met in Rome thanks to Simonetta Cipriani, Simonetta Gianfelici, which is the lady of the context, was an ex-context. And as soon as we met, we understood that we have so many things in common. And I went with him, in the first country was Burkina Faso, and I started to see with a different view from the artisans, their work, their stories, and I understand that people don't know at all what is really African, no? And we misunderstood it with this prince, which we think that it's just the prince just walks, and it's not at all. They have such a sophisticated way to handwoven, for instance, like in Burkina or in Mali, where their fabrics are made with a really historical technique of mud, fermented mud. And it's so interesting, and it's so sophisticated. The only thing is, if we see those things made here, or made in Europe, or made in Italy, in France, it's sophisticated, it's elegant. And if we see the same thing in a village in Africa, it's look like, oh, nice for people that made. No, it's the same hard and sophisticated technique. So it's the perception, it's the point of view. We can keep looking at this work from up, no? But in a more equal way, because if we keep saying, let's buy this thing because it's made in Burkina, because it's made in Mali, and we will help those poor people, it's not that. It's not about that. I'm not helping poor people. I'm work with them at the same way I work with Italian artisans in the same way. They teach me even more, no? That what I can teach them. The thing that I can do for them is bring it, no, in a more larger audience. But they have so much more. And in every collection, I try to add a new technique, a new kind of fabric, a new kind of like handcraft, like all the accessory that we realize in Haiti, no? Where we do the fer forgé or the papier-mâché technique. There's so many things. We are used to, normally in fashion, infuse techniques or laser, really sophisticated and technological one. This is the historical heritage. Well, I think that we should learn that before the history, and then we can go on together, because it's even more than our own heritage, my Italian one, no, or maybe yours.
And so you started off first in Burkina Faso, and then you started moving into other places. So here we have an image of you in Haiti with the Clinton Foundation. Can you explain a little bit about what you were doing there in your work with the Clinton Foundation?
First of all, I came back home.
Of course.
So I take a while before I decide myself to go to Haiti, because I knew that the moment that I went to Haiti, it would be different from Burkina and Mali, because it's not just talking about and promoting. It's a big responsibility for me, because that's my mom at home looking at it. And, you know, I feel it. I feel the country. It's, people don't know Haiti at all the most of the time. I'm come from a country, Italy, where people before earthquake thought that Haiti was Tahiti, and so they thought it in a completely different continent, or they just know it for the earthquake, and they don't know that we have a big artistic wave, that we have the larger number of writers and artists, the larger number of art gallery and architecture. Not building, but houses. And this is a lot of art for the half of an island, no? And it's really sad when I just see Haiti represented by sad, gray destructive images is not that. It's much, much more. So when I said I feel all the responsibility to talk about this country, is because I really need to change the perception on it. Because I don't want people saying anymore when I say I'm Italian and my mom is from Haiti. Oh, poor, I'm sorry for you. Not sorry at all. really proud of my Haitian side.
So you had done a collection. Well, here's you working. So can you tell us a little bit about the process when you go to Haiti and when you're working with these artisans? What is the process of you working together with them?
I went there. I already know most of the technique we do in Haiti, but every time they study a new one, so I went them and talked with them. The first thing is talk. I know that it's fashion and it's all about, people think it's all about aesthetic. For me, it's not that at all. If you think that I don't even have a traditional training on fashion, I don't even know how to draw. So it's not about aesthetic for me. It's the second step. It's behind it. It's about the sense that we have. We must start to put in fashion. I don't think the world need one more designer to make beautiful things. We have beautiful collection, thousand collection everywhere, every week. No, I think High Street store. So now we have the chance to put sense on it, and we have the commitment, because if you think that with those the images of the fashion show can go around the world in a few seconds, we can't lose this opportunity to talk, to share something. So I have to communicate. All the looks for me are words. No, it's the reason why every fashion show, each of my fashion show starts with this lady of the Haitian theater, the Tobisen, that scream "Rassemblez." It's let's get together. It's a kind of, I'm asking your attention, please pay attention. I know there are 9 minutes fashion show, and people are there to take fun. It's an entertainment moment. It's not only that. I'm telling you a story. I need you to pay attention. I need you to be there, and not just only think that skirts will fit on me or my daughter on my. No. You have to listen, not only to look at. No, it's a different approach to fashion.
Well, speaking of storytelling and going back to Haiti, for this collection for spring 2015, you looked at painting traditions in Haiti. And can you talk a little bit more about the naive painting movement and how you incorporated it into your collection?
As I said before, Haiti is the island with the biggest artistic paint wave, which is naïf, the naïf art. With the French minister, André Malraux, which is, it was the most magical art he ever seen. And it's one of my tools to show the islands, the country in a different way. So I put, because, I'm start everything from a struggle, but I have to pass you some joy, some happiness. This is how Haiti is. That's why I've started to put all those naive paintings mixed with simple things that you can have in your wardrobe and that you surely have, a shirt. And to see that, to show that you can even wear art. It's not, they are not hard or, it's easy to wear those kind of, those clothes.
How did you develop the motif? Did you work with artists or did you use existing images?
For some of them, I work with the artists. From some of them, I use a typical subject of the naïf, like the donkeys you see in the earrings, that represent not only the way to move from a place to another, but always to carry food. It's an important symbol, too. Or in the bag, you don't see because it's in the other side, we see the papier-mâché, even in the necklace. All the artistic reference of Haiti. So you can put together the work without looking, I say it sounds bizarre, without looking too ethical. That means we don't need more I Love Africa shirts, not about that. We need to show that it's beautiful, like all the other pieces, like all the Italian pieces that you have in the collection. You would say it's beautiful. No, I will help Italy. No, it's not about that. You just have to say it's beautiful, and it will help to integrate the trade also, which is really important with them, and it's not just assistenzialismo. It's not just a help that you give, but you work with them. And even when you go and buy before because you like it, not because I can spend some money to help the world. No, because you like it, because you treat it like all the other pieces of your collection, of your wardrobe.
And I think, too, that's why any of these pieces can really stand alone as a fashion piece. It's not necessarily just a sustainable piece, but a fashion piece. And I think that's one of the reasons why you've been so successful as a designer as well.
Yeah, because, for me, it's not a marketing or a kind of... nowadays, you see a lot of that. Now, all those... collection that's doing really everything, the worst of the worst, and then from a day to another they have the
you have the H&M sustainable collection.
I wouldn't say name, but it's incredible, no? It's incredible. I think they're really brave to do that. And to sell more, to have a good image. But you can't do that when you talk about nations, when you talk about... It's a loss of respect, I think. I don't respect Haiti or Burkina or Mali if I use them to sell. It's not about that. I use them because I believe it, because I work with them, not to sell more or to hide all the bad things that I've done before and I keep doing. It's not that.
So speaking of, here you are in Geneva with the UN. So tell us a little bit about your presentation that you gave here.
It was a meeting on the women empowerment. As I said, we work above all with women in the villages because what I've learned is when you teach something to, they used to say to me, when you teach to fish to a man, you will feed a man. When you teach her to fish to a woman, you will feed a family. And it's like that. I can say it's really like that. So we work above all with women. And we see that not only they are proud to share their heritage, their technique, but they really change their life because they see the chance to change, to give the possibility to the kids to go to school, they do all they have to do with con molto fierezza, no?
And with pride, with a lot of pride for having
So we've seen that your collections are very personal, not just because of your connection with that one you did with Haiti, but because of the research, the time, the relationships you build. But when you are designing your pieces, who do you envision wearing your pieces? Is it a person, a woman in a certain area, a certain place in the world? Who do you think of?
As I said, the collections are the reflex of my personal story. So above all, I will see all the women in my family, from my grandmother, my mother, what they teach me. But I never see one woman. It's a kind of mix and match and crossover that it would be possible to see one woman. There are some women that are important to me from my childhood. I was in love with those kind of like Rigoberta Menchú, that woman that bring the history of his country on her all the time, and she's really proud to do that. So I think that she's really, really beautiful. I have an ideal of aesthetical, which is behind the beauty, behind the aesthetic. I see the beauty in the big action, in women like that change the world without caring if I'm a few kilos or I'm a larger or a shorter. It's not that. It would be really superficial if we're talking about red carpet woman. It's not only that, no? So I can't imagine just one woman.
So tell us about, for your fall 2015 collection, where did some of your inspiration come? And we've seen in some of these images the wonderful city backdrops and the paintings. Can you tell us how those work in collaboration with your designs?
This collection was inspired from Indian Himalaya and Africa. And I put all those metropolitan images to show the contrast, no? Because it's important to do things that you believe in, but it's important to do also things that have to be wearable for real. And the most of them we wear it in cities, in different towns, from all over the world. And we sell from Japan to New Zealand to New York. And so it's a really contemporary woman from all over the world that brings those two cultures with her, like we see here, but always with a really contemporary touch.
And you have this incredible ability to really mix all these different patterns, colors together. What is the process for that? Do you start with one fabric and build off of that, or how do you mix all these different patterns and colors together?
I don't think about the styling when I start to work. When all the collection is done, I work in a really strange way, so people would work with me as frightened when I start, but they don't know what I will do or if I will finish it. And I start, when I have all the collection done, one piece by another, not by look, I start to tell the story. No? Because in each look, we have to have the elements of the story that I said before. No? Like here too.
And moving now into your most recent collection, your spring 2016, this you kind of took us on a trip around the world, literally. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
This collection was inspired from we have a huge problem of migration in Italy now, since we are the first country across the Mediterranean Sea. And so we receive all the migration wave. And all the other country put some border to it. It's Italy now. So I start to read on the social some comments from young Italians which say hard and tough words about it. And the first I was thinking about that, we Italian, we are not allowed to say that because we face exactly the same struggle. We've been treated even worse than that. And in each Italian family, you will always find a grandmother, grandfather, someone who have to live to change their life, to live for the poorness and to give an opportunity. Exactly how those people are doing now. And so I try to tell the story, to remember to all those people who have a short memory that we left Italy to go to South America above all. So that's why you see this big South American influence, and North America here, and in Africa too, to show all the country we've been through this collection. And remember that we have been through, we passed the same path. So we can't allow ourselves to say things which do not belong to our culture.
Well, you have traveled all over the world producing your collections, but you're based in Milan, which is one of the established fashion capitals. But through your travels, through your experience, where do you think the next fashion city is going to come up? apart from the big four?
I don't think that it will be just from one nation. I think it will start, or it will born from the meeting of more than one force, no? And we don't know. I think one will be a country that people would never imagine, no? Could never ever be important or change the history of fashion. But in help of this country will come an historical fashion capital. So it's not alone that we change history. We must meet, to make things grow. We don't know. As I said at the beginning, I was a strange girl in my country. Now it's become normal, and one day we will find this so normal to mix all the culture like this. I will be something old and used to, Italy and Haiti. So I think from the meeting, from the from the mixing race, we will have so many surprises. So many beautiful things that is not from saying that mixed race are more beautiful than the others. No, it's not that, but we will have beautiful surprise from it.
And just in the past even few years, you've expanded exponentially, being featured in American Vogue. They did a story on you, and as we were researching for global fashion capitals, your designs constantly came up in magazines in South Africa and everywhere else. And here we could see some more of the designs here on Beyonce and then here on Rihanna. Can you explain to us, Rihanna had worn this dress to the White House. What did that mean for you and how special was that?
Oh, it was a big surprise because we didn't know. She didn't ask for for the clothes as usually those kind of stars do. They ask at the fashion house and then they send them. No, she just bought it, so it was a big surprise to see her. I think she's a big symbol for the new generation. So it's really great.
And then moving on into the future, what is the future of Stella Jean? What is the future of your company?
I'm really superstitious, so I never say. I won't say anything. So I'll do before, and then I'll come back to say what I've done. So no, I won't say. We will see. We will see. All the things that happened from the beginning of my career was a big surprise for everybody. The first time that I passed the context, they say to me, "You never sell those things to anybody. You can't stop here." So even the first collection was a surprise, and all the incredible things that happened then helped me to put a sense in the collection and. Was incredible. All the meeting, all the people I met, and I hope that it will keep like that. We'll keep growing, meeting, and know other culture, and put a sense. And even because when you don't know things, you can't do anything. But once you know it, you can't avoid yourself to do something. So. Me before, and then I want to, through those collections, inform people, talk with people, and together be less superficial that we are, no? And when you dress up, you say so many things about you.
Absolutely.
You just hide when you put too many brands on you, no? It's somebody else's name, and I don't think it's the most intelligent, smart things. But you say always a lot of things. So let's communicate and use it like all the other arts. It's a kind of communication of the artist to the audience. Let's use fashion as a tools, no? To communicate something, not just for fashion itself, or at least for me it's like that.
We at the museum also agree with you there.
Well, it's been such a pleasure. We'll now take some of the questions. I think they're bringing down some of the questions that I'm sure people are curious and would like to ask you.
I have a question here. How do you feel about improving Haitian tourism?
As I said, 80 is my big responsibility. So, if we change the perception, people will be less afraid even to go there. Because we are talking about artisans and special projects that we can do with artisans, but we can't go on like that for a long time. We have to move again the artisan in 80. So if people start back to go there for tourism, knowing, it will work itself like it used to. So it have to work again. So you have to be attracted from 80, not to be scared of it.
So somebody wants to know if you will ever have a children's line.
We can say it. I have a children's line. We can say it from the side.
Who are some of your favorite fellow fashion designers?
I'm in love with Rizvan Noten work that you have in the exhibition. I think that it's doing more than just fashion. Is a really cultivated and cultural collection. No.
And somebody wants to know, how do you translate the ideas to your staff and how do you work with them?
At the beginning, people who start to work with me have to have this kind of vision because it's very hard. You have to be really motivated, no? Because we are not doing a lot of party or all the beautiful things about fashion that you see picture on the street. We are working a lot in hard conditions, so you have to love the sense, the philosophy on it. We have two representative of the team that really believe on it. See, my chance was at the beginning that I found a lot of people that trust me because I have no warranty. This young lady that doesn't even know how to draw, what we can do with her. So the trust on the idea, on the philosophy, on the what you say, Danielle.
She really had me here just to intervene in something like this, of course. Indeed, it's believing in Stella, believing in the people that really want to do things. Stella has been one of these people, really believing what she wanted to do and have a vision. And that vision is very important. That took her all the steps from who's on next to showing and almost imposing nicely her vision that will be the future. She says the future shall let us know, but that is already a step towards the future. She talked about tourism, like she's the Minister of Tourism or something, But it's indeed, by doing what she's doing, she's been at it for a while now, and the result is you all sitting here. And it's fantastic to see this battery of people. We thank you for being here and listening to this young lady here and sharing.
Yeah, very young.
And sharing this with us. Really, thank you for being here in the name of Stella.
A question, what do you mean by counter-colonialism?
We will talk now about the south of the world. They have been forced to with the Occidental fashion, we will say, for centuries. And now the thing that happened is this migration transform all this way in the opposite way. So they come from the south to the north. So now we have just two chances. Or we make a kind of war, or we start to dialogue together and allow this counter-colonization. Counter because it's from the other side. A counter because it's not with the same idea of oppression and sottomissione.
She says oppression and really submission, make it happen.
It's not about that. We will meet and exchange something.
Do you have advice for the future of fashion, for a future fashion designer? The golden question.
I'm start with my fingertips. So I think that it's important to start in looking not only on the magazine, not only on the best look of the season or the most stylish blogger, but starting from personal stories. I think in our family, in our story, we can find is really original or exclusive, no? Point of view that will make the difference. In other case, we will just do a copy of something that we already see, and we are seeing everything. So the things that we can add, it's our personal fingertip that we have to bring in fashion, not just one more copy.
How are you able to fulfill orders in time when working with artisans working far away?
How can I?
Do you have any problems filling your orders when your artisans work so far away from Italy?
We are working with a lot of different communities, so we have to do also to give a good impression. That's why we are organized to deliver in time. We are doing that too. It's not just because they are artisans in village, they do not deliver. Now they're used to do that too. Exactly, we are working with them. Exactly, we are working with the artisan in Italy, for instance.
So we have a question about the business side of fashion. They want to know, how did you start your company, and did you have funding, or how did you work through the business aspect of it?
At the beginning?
Yes, in the beginning.
I've been really lucky, I think, to find all those people, from photographer, from PR office, from the showroom, that believe in me, trust in me from the first time, and said, okay, let's take a picture, and then you will pay after. You will see if you really believe in it. Let's start. And I think that has been my big chance, because I think if I was like a Iris or I had the possibility to pay everybody, I would just have a team of people that I paid for. They are here for the money that I gave it. No, they are here because they believe in what we are doing, and we are growing together. We learn from each other. The human factor in this collection is really the most important one. We shouldn't have done all this way with a lot of money. Our chance, it was not to have all that money.
Do you think there's a wrong way of mixing prints?
It's a hard question. At the beginning, people were thinking that I was mixed in the wrong way. So, which is the right way? Do what you like.
And we have a student who wants to know if you offer any internships.
Yes, we have a career sign in the website for people which are really I don't know who's wrote it, which are really motivated. Remember the person who wrote it, that we don't give all that money, so you have to be really motivated, and a lot of work. A lot of miles.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the construction of your garments? You use a lot of voluminous full skirts. What underpinnings do you use to achieve the volume?
We take all the shape, all the silhouette from the 60s, and we used to put crinolina on them.
Crinoline. Mm-hmm. And also can you explain a little bit about, because we didn't get to touch on that, about the Italian tailoring aspect, because I think that's another part we really didn't touch on.
Yes, because people start from the colors now and the print that you see, but the things that is always in every single piece is the Italian tailoring. So it's the starting point for me. When I say this is my father's side, for us the tailoring has to be the start of everything, the point of departure of the collection, or a single piece. And I think it's that meeting that changed, no? Because people were using to go to holidays in tropical places, we will say, and then buy all kind of fabric and then come back to their city and put there somewhere or on the sofa or for make the curtains. But not this, as once you come back in New York, in Paris, in London, I said, I will never wear those prints here. But when you met culture, no, and you give a familiar shape, when you see shapes of the 60s, you see your mother or grandmother's shapes. It's something that your eyes used to see. It's something familiar that belongs to your history. And it's the meeting of it, the two cultures. Something belongs to you and something that comes from far away. When you can balance those elements, you find a wearable result. That's what I like when people buy, for instance, one of my skirts, to mix it with something of your history, like your father's shirt, your boyfriend, something, no? Because there are elements of your memory that you have on you. The most of the time, I wear my father's shirts. It's a kind of nostalgic and familiar touch that I have to keep all the time, that I have to have in the collection and on me all the time. And I hope people not just take my looks and do just the same, but start also mix with your own pieces and tell your stories too with mine.
Great, well, thank you so much.
And please be sure to go. The museum will be open tomorrow, and the exhibit will be open until November 14th. So please go and see Stella's beautiful piece and the boots as well. Thank you.
Next to Prada, eh?
Yeah, next to